Hello and welcome to the Football Buffet podcast. My name is Oluwatobi, and I have one of the usual corporates on the studio today. Toby Gaffa is back in the studio with us. We have quite a number of things we'll be diving into today. Nigeria versus Ghana. We had our first friendly match post AFCON 2023 against Ghana. It was an interim coach that took over the game, which was Finidi George, legendary Nigerian footballer. After Ose Pesero left us dry, so he played a 3-5-2 formation. I know, Toby, you've been a proponent of the 3-5-2 formation. You love that formation, whether it's the variants of 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. Every time we play that formation, you are always going, making a lot of noise about it. So, what would you say about the game? Nigeria, he ended up 2-1 for Nigeria against Ghana. It was an okay game from my own perspective. The guys were very confident. They played very well. Not very well, but was okay. Better than the average performances we get in most friendlies. And I think they were very comfortable playing in that shape. What do you have to say concerning that game, Toby?
Yes, Toby. Like you said earlier, I'm a huge advocate for that formation, especially when it comes to the Super Eagles. I've watched Super Eagles for a long time, and this current generation of players, the best formation to get the best out of them, Toby, is this 3-4-3, 3-5-2 formation, whatever variation you choose to utilize. And I'm glad that the interim coach, Finidi George, has stuck to the formation led by Jose Pesero. And obviously, you don't change the winning formula, and it's worked again for him. Against Ghana, that will naturally struggle or recently struggled to play against, were able to get a victory, in his first job. And Toby, not to forget, he went into that game without assistants. He didn't have assistant coaches, he didn't have fitness coaches, no analysts, and he still was able to get a result against Almighty Ghana. Ghana is a Ghanaian team that we regularly
Ghana,
struggle to get.
don't go mighty.
Yeah, Toby, in recent times we've struggled to defeat them. Remember, they started from going to the last World Cup in Qatar, and they've been they've been a bone in our throat, and for Finidi going into that kind of game in his first game in charge, not even getting a draw, getting a win, is a massive result for the coach, and I really like the way the team played.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Going back to the records and the stats, the last time Nigeria actually got victory against the Ghanaians was back in 2006, in the AFCON 2006. So it's been 18 years that we've not been able to beat them. So winning the Ghanaians actually was a good result for Finidi George. So talking about the game, I saw the game. There were a few changes. Lukman started from the bench. Awaziem came in place of Calvin Bassey. Calvin Bassey didn't get any minutes at all. We also saw a very vibrant Iwobi as against to what we saw at the AFCON 23. Talk to us about how creative Iwobi was in the game as compared to his performance at AFCON 23.
Yes, Toby, let me first touch what you started with, which was the fact that it was a changed squad. It was really impressive from the team and from the coach going into a tough game against Ghana that we've not won for so long, and then you still were able to juggle around with the squad. You're able to rotate, bring in a couple of new names, giving players that debut, and they still look so comfortable. They look compact. They don't look different from the team we saw in the AFCON. And I must say kudos to the coach for being so brave, bringing in Cyril Desas, bringing in Ndidi that's been out for a while, bringing in Tiaminu for his debut in the defense line, Chinedu Awaziem as well. That's got by the coach, and I was really glad to see that happen. And then now see the way the team played, despite those changes. I must give the coaches flowers and also those players that have come into replace those ones that were dropped, and they've done well. They've made a stake. They've staked their claims for a shirt in the starting 11. Going on to Iwobi, some of us were trying to educate people who were talking down on Iwobi at the AFCON, saying he didn't do enough playing in the middle of the park. Hey, Iwobi is not a central midfielder, he's not a defensive midfielder. Iwobi is an attacking midfielder, he's a player that is meant to play with flair. And in the AFCON, he was asked to do a different job, which, in my opinion, did perfectly. He was asked to play a holding role, playing as a double pivot with Onyeka. And in this game against Ghana, you could see what Iwobi could do when you let him play further forward. He had Ndidi and Onyeka as double pivots in this system, while he was playing further in front of them behind the two strikers, which was Kelechi Iheanacho and Cyril Desas. And you could see how Iwobi played. It was impeccable. It was everywhere. You could see him getting a lot of touches on the ball, creating left and right. That's the Iwobi. That's what Iwobi likes to do.
It
Winning the
was
ball and to be chasing after players, which was what he did throughout the AFCON, which is not easy to be for a player who likes to attack for him to condition to play in such a role. So was able to shut the critics up yesterday with that performance, and I felt it was a good performance generally from Iwobi.
Yeah. I think it was a good one. So two more things that I also wanted to touch on and also get your perspective on. First would be Ademola Lookman. It seems and it looks like Ademola Lookman is our best finisher in the Super Eagles, right? He didn't start the game, came in the second half, and I think it was the second time he was called to action, and the ball ended up in the nets, right?
Yeah,
Is beginning to look like Ademola Lookman is that player who is going to be able to get us to go anytime we need to go for the Super Eagles. Talk to us
he
about that.
has he has adjusted really well to the team. For someone who didn't play through our age cadres, he has adjusted really well to the team. Kudos to Adema Lukman. He settled in really well, even better than a lot of people envisaged. I hope that Nathan Taylor can also do the same going forward in the future. But talking about Lukman, he did really well. Came into the game. The build up to that goal to me was immaculate. If it was just a fluke or if it was part of the doings of Coach Finidi George, we'll see in the future. They really kept the ball well, build up possession from the back and played through the midfield up to the attack, created the chance perfectly for Ademola Lookman, who slotted in perfectly. He was a joy to watch. I've not seen the Super Eagles build up so well in a really long time. If it was just a one-off, or if it was something they worked out in training by Coach Finidi, we'll see in the coming games. But the goal was a well-taken one by Ademola Lookman. Looks like it's quite lethal, even better than Osimhen in recent times.
Yeah,
Because Osimhen,
man is on fire, man. He scored like
yeah,
going by the
yeah,
stats,
like
he
three,
scores
four goals
one in every two games
in
now.
yeah, he scored like 4 goals in the AFCON as well. Could have been a good scorer if he had a goal or so in the final. But coming in yesterday against Ghana and putting away that chance, hey, well done to Ademola Lookman. He didn't even let us miss Victor Osimhen at all.
So you talked a lot also about some of the starters. We had Tamino, who came in, played very well in the defense. We have a game against Mali, right, on Tuesday. Would you be looking at the play another player coming in, maybe a player we've not really seen much of? What was going to be your recommendations in terms of let's see, because I know back in AFCON when we have this conversation about the formation, you talked a lot about let us scout for players who can play as backups for the personnel that make this tick. The true step ones. I know you talked about the Darabia at some point. So I know for players in camp now, I know there's Dele Bashiru in camp now, who is also a creative player. So in your own opinion, which kind of players would you like to see in the game against Mali for Finidi George, at least so that we can test some of these players, some personnel for some positions going into that game against Mali?
Yeah, Toby, first of all, let me give kudos to Stanley Abali. I forgot to do that in my previous remarks. It was
Man is
impeccable. It was really good. I think we can put an end to that worry about the number one spot. He's got quality. He made a couple of saves yesterday, particularly the save, the calamity save from the set piece. It was fantastic. He just gave me that assurance that we've got what we've been looking for, what we've been lacking as far as it's been solved. Stanley Bali is undisputed number one goalkeeper for Nigeria Super Eagles. Going into this game against Mali, for me to be, I would rotate again. It's a friendly game. Why not? Let's see a few more players that we've not seen. I think Tamini got injured in the last game against Ghana. He might not be fit for the game against Mali on Tuesday. Why don't you look for someone else who can play in that position? Give them an opportunity to play. Since I was him, personally, I'm not a fan of him, but he did
But
well.
I think he put a good shift. He put in a
Yeah, he
good
did.
shift.
I'm not a fan, but he did. He put in a good shift against Ghana. I think that's enough for him to get another starting shirt against Mali. Conor Tomeru is available on the bench. He can replace Tamino if he's not fit enough for this game. So Shemilo Ajayi has shown that he's a rock at the back for Nigeria, and he did so well against Ghana. In midfield, I personally put Iwobi and Onyeka on the bench. We've seen more than enough of them recent times. They've shown that they're capable. I can play Fisayo and also Raf Onyedika, who came in
Yeah,
in
had
the
some
last game.
minutes.
Yeah, he came in the last game, so I would like to see much more of him. So I think I don't mind having here and Fisayo play alongside Ndidi in that midfield. And going forward, Ian actually we've seen a lot of him, but in this system, he has not really excelled. He didn't really do too well for me against Ghana. Maybe he gets to start again, or maybe you try to look at someone else. Maybe Sadiq Kumar is available. You can have a look at him in this new system. For the wing backs, defensively they were not so good. Like I always advocate to be the wing backs. You don't really need them to do a lot defensively. You need them offensively to create the forwards. We've got the 3 defenders and the midfielders to defend. So if there are other available wing backs that we can look at that we've not seen much of, we've seen Bruno Oyemachi and Bright Osai Samuel in the last game. If there are other guys that can deputize in those positions, why not? So for me, I think I'll rotate and change a few more players going to the game against Mali.
Yeah, I share that perspective as well. I think the essence of friendly matches is for you to explore, look for backup personnel for your starting 11 really. So hopefully, Finidi George does that against Mali in the game on Tuesday. So I'm gonna put you on the spot for this last question, right? Finidi George, he's got the job on an interim capacity. Based on what you've seen so far against Ghana, let's imagine that he has another good run against the Malians on Tuesday. Would you say the NFF should give him the job on full-time basis?
They should. I've watched him. I've
You
watched
watch
him.
him in Aimba as well.
I've watched him in the Himba, and there's nothing special.
But it's Aimba team from all I've seen a few videos.
Yeah,
Really.
he won the league last season.
They won the league, but they were not
and
outstanding
and I
in
beat the
terms of
league,
the
and
way
they
they
were
play.
spectacular. Yeah, so I don't think it's got what it takes to coach the national team. He's done well on an interim basis. He can be an assistant still, but get a decent coach, get a coach that can coach the back three and play proper football. We can't keep depending on individual brilliance. We need to see the team play actual football and be intentional about how they build up and how they create chances, how they defend and how they score goals. We understand that with this shape, it's difficult to break us down. So defensively, it's not really a problem. But the issue is how do we create goals? How do we build up from how do we build up in possession? So that's what I think the coach needs to, the new coach needs to do. Finidi for me doesn't cut it.
Okay, so you said Finidi doesn't cut it for you. Okay, so thanks for that breakdown on that game. Yeah, thank you so much for joining on the program today. Also subscribe, share, and like some of our contents, and see you some other time. Bye bye now.